Are you telling me it's about to be a 3-part season and Suha and Jiwon are still not able to be together comfortably? And I have a feeling it's all that redhead Do-Yok's dude's fault. Before we get started, I just want to remind our viewers that if you like seeing more yaoi content and would like to support this channel, please don't forget to smash that like button. Also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Feel free to message me in my social media at ZEALED FUJOSHI, which I'll be using to interact with viewers about more yaoi content. If that's something that interests you, feel free to follow me at ZEALED FUJOSHI. Finally, this episode will contain explicit content and a lot of manhwa spoilers. With that in mind, please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Now, without further ado, let's jump into chapter 72 of My Suha. Jiwon knows that the redhead Do-Yuk is a psycho capable of many horrible things and that they need to be extra careful. Jiwon is obviously worried because Do-Yuk would do something or anything to have Suha. I'm just really hoping that nothing bad will happen to them again. If it was me, I'd hide myself even if Jiwon didn't say anything, because Do-Yuk is really creepy and scary. At least Suha should hide for a little while until Do-Yuk is taken care of. Hopefully it wouldn't take that long. And Suha, if Jiwon tells you to stay home, you better stay home. We can't bear to see you getting hurt over and over again, because whenever you get hurt, Jiwon also gets hurt. Because look, the director is showing his possessiveness again. He is possessive. When he confessed to Suha, he wouldn't accept a no. And I wouldn't be surprised if he will not accept a no in this one also. I mean, look at the extent the director has to go just so Suha does not get into trouble. I get that he wants to protect Suha, and I really am excited to see what's going to happen, but I feel so sad that this too has been suffering for such a long time. And during Suha and Jiwon's conversation, I'm really puzzled by the grandmother's behavior with Do-Yuk, Jiwon, and Suha. I keep wondering, is she even aware of all of the shit that Do-Yuk has been pulling? I'm guessing that she doesn't, or else she would have talked to Suha at least. But come on, like, with all of the hatred that she has for Jiwon, does she even understand who's been keeping the company going? Definitely not Do-Yuk, because he just came back from overseas, right? So I understand Jiwon's point of view that nothing will change because that grandma fails to see what's happening in front of her eyes because of some resentment that she holds against Jiwon, which I guess is because he was a sole survivor in their family tragedy. I am still not seeing the whole picture on this whole Park family drama, but I'm just glad that Jiwon is being proactive throughout everything. I hope that the president sides with Suha if Suha does get the chance to talk to the president, and that would make a lot of things freaking smoother and not a lot of pain for Suha and Jiwon. And I kind of also want to know what is the whole story about Suha not studying abroad? Because it is highlighted again in this chapter. I guess it's probably because they broke up, so that Suha decided not to follow Do-yuk overseas. But I want to know the backstory of their relationship. But I don't want to see Suha crying's face again due to Do-yuk. So I'm kind of like 50-50 on that whole thing. But it looks like the author is finally closing in some of the loops, because this train scene was already hinted a couple of chapters ago. Now, just a couple more things needs to be addressed, hopefully by next season. One of them is what made the grandma hate Jiwoon so much. Like, what is the background to that animosity? Two, what is up with the scene where Jiwoon is in the hospital bed? This scene has been shown so many times throughout the series, and it looks like it is an important event in both Suha and Jiwoon's life, because whenever Jiwoon would wake up from that hospital bed, it is Suha who is always there by his side. And number three, like, I really hope this whole Do-yuk situation will be taken care of by next season. And we know that Jiwoon and Suha love each other very much, and we know that Jiwoon would always ask for consent for everything that he does with Suha. But I hope that he does it again, just to show that he really is one of those exceptional semes in Yaoi, where Jiwoon would ask Suha if his plan of keeping him quote-unquote safe by telecommuting is okay with Suha, because Suha is basically a prisoner in Jiwoon's house, right? And I hope if Suha does disagree, because this is a possibility, because Suha hasn't given Jiwoon an answer, so there is still a possibility that Suha will still say no to Jiwoon's proposal of telecommuting from the house. And it sounds like both of them are gonna stay in the house, because Jiwoon said that he wants to always have Suha on his side. So it's not only Suha who's gonna be telecommuting, but also Jiwoon. But I hope that if Suha disagrees with Jiwoon's plan, that they'll find a way to face this whole problem together, instead of letting one take charge of the situation, because they both love each other and they would do anything for each other, and it seems like one is always willing to sacrifice themselves for the other, right? And we all know that this will be a very long struggle if they keep doing this bad habit of theirs. It could be the highest mountain that they'll ever need to climb. But if it's gonna be one protecting the other while the other is sacrificing himself, beating this problem of a mountain would be impossible, regardless of how much they love each other. I hope that they'll look for a middle ground and know that it's better to face the challenges they have in front of them together than apart. And there is a saying, two heads are better than one. It exists for a reason, right? So I really hope that they keep on fighting, because they are both so precious, right? In my mind though, there is also a possibility that since they are telecommuting, the probability of them deciding to go overseas for a little bit to be together but away from everything is also not a bad plan, because it's kind of weird if you're just telecommuting from the home. Like, why? Right? Like, make it a vacation somewhere far away. That would be nice. That would be a nice, hiatus for them. Take some time out to recover from all of the mess and come back all refreshed and ready to take down the mountain. And I absolutely love Suha's sister in this chapter. I think that little girl is playing Cupid for both of them all this time. That girl's a little fujoshi right there. The amount of emotion that was flooding in this chapter, my gosh. At first it was sadness, then it was a whole load of wholesome, and then I was sad again. But my gosh, it was a circus of emotions, and I absolutely love that Jiwoon is one of those tops that isn't toxic, because let's accept it, you fujoshis and fudanshis out there know that 90% of the tops out there are ugly ass toxic motherfuckers. And Jiwoon is one of those exceptional few. I think this is probably one of the deepest boys love that I've read throughout the years. Like, Jiwoon is going through so much shit, and through everything, Suha still tells him that he loves him. That's freaking love right there. And I'm crying because this two is one of my favorite couples of all time. Before I end this episode, I just want to remind our viewers and listeners that my Suha would go on a very long hiatus until April of 2021. So there would be no updates on this series for at least 3 months. And there is no updates in my channel if there's not gonna be any chapters released. So we can keep our theories and conversation alive through YouTube and Instagram. If you have any points, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to follow my social media to be teased about some of the boys' love that I'm interested in. Feel free to leave a message and converse with me. I'd love to hear back from you. Also, don't forget to support the author. All the manhwa details can be found in the description below. Again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.